All right, we're live.
Welcome in, man. A chill little sunset in Phoenix, Arizona here. What has been a beautiful weather day.
It has been. It's been very warm, but
77-ish.
not too hot. It's not like the heat of summer when you can't get in your car without burning yourself.
But with all that said, it still was though the sun shined, if you're an Alabama fan, it was a different day. It was a day full of gratitude. As I was talking to a lot of Alabama fans the day after the loss out here, some who are staying through the championship game tomorrow, like we are.
Yep.
They were very happy for the ride, and we'll talk about that as we do the this little live sunset show from Phoenix here. If you're wondering, music is coming from over here at the Zona Girls display across the street, and then down is Fan Fest down that way. And our show's brought to you by our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag, that gets you into the game. A little bit earlier, Taylor was in on South Carolina's win over Iowa, and I was in on William Byron's win in NASCAR. So a couple of winners today.
Oh, yeah.
MyBookie.ag, and they're bringing us all of our coverage out here at the Final Four in Phoenix, Arizona, just like they have through the NCAA tournament. And always promo code next round. First off, your first Final Four experience.
It was.
Night. What was it like being in a basketball setting in front of 74,000 plus fans for a basketball game?
It was insane. We were talking about it earlier, and I said I was trying to get videos, and I couldn't. No video did the crowd justice. It was insane. It was incredible. It was incredible that many people were in one stadium for a basketball game. And it's just, you never realize. I think the thing that stood out most to me was that the court ends, and typically the court ends, and there might be, a few rows of stands, but the majority of the stands are on the sides of the court. It was, and I can see now when everyone talks about depth perception in relation to going from basketball arenas to football stadiums, I can see how that would mess you up, because it is so different.
Yeah, it's even different just watching the games in that atmosphere, right? It's a raised court, and it just looks different. It's so big in there, the rim looks like it's 8.5 feet instead of 10.
Right.
It looks like when you jump up, you're almost shooting down at it.
Yeah.
And you can see how it would jack up. But I thought, Alabama, that being said, they shot 75% or 70% from three-point land in the first half, and then went cold in the final 12 minutes, and that was the difference. So, we'll answer your questions. Kick them in here, brought to you by our friends at MyBookie. Just this beautiful setting, great host city of Phoenix for the Final Four. And today we got out early and said goodbye to the team. I was over at the team hotel when they were leaving. Still some long faces. We talked in the locker room with them last night, and you heard them.
Yeah.
It would take them a while before they really appreciated everything they did this season.
I will say this, though. I can't remember who I was talking to today. It may have been my mom. But they did such a good job after that game, the players in the locker room. We weren't in the big press conference with Nate Oates, Mark Sears, and I believe it was Grant Nelson.
That's right.
So I don't know how that went, but in the locker room, they were so willing to talk. And the past losing locker rooms that I've been in, it's not fun for anyone. That they probably don't want to talk.
Right.
I don't think that any of us really want to be in there after, because they want to, they just want time to get over it, especially on that big of a stage. But in relation to other locker rooms that I've been in, I thought that they did an incredible job handling themselves, talking after the game.
And I think part of that is because it was such a good run. They were in the freaking Final Four for the first time in school history. Taylor's going to pull up some comments. Just thanks for being with us live on a Sunday. I assume it's about to be dark where you are. The sun probably setting about right now. There's still a lot of sunshine left out here in Phoenix, palm trees, good music, and a ton of fans. One thing that hopefully you noticed on television, the number in the first game, the number of Purdue fans that are here. I'd
so
say
many.
40% of the stadium were Purdue fans.
Yes.
And they were loud and proud. And then UConn and NC State and Alabama, I thought, were evenly divided with the fans in the stadium last night. But it does seem like UConn fans are pouring in here and they're ready to go. to try to get another championship and go back-to-back tomorrow night. Let's get some comments, and then we'll circle around with some more of our thoughts. She's Taylor Korn. I'm Jim Dunaway. This is our My Bookie Sunday evening show, and if you're wondering, as far as I know, I will be up early, 7 o'clock Pacific time, and I'll be on with the guys from Phoenix tomorrow on National Championship Monday, just without my team playing in it, just without any of our SEC teams playing in it. So it's a little different.
But that's nothing new, really, when it comes to basketball. Let's see. It's
been a while.
We were talking about this earlier. NA345 says, Jim, you were on the broadcast last night during halftime between Ian Grant and Bill. Held up a paper to cover your face.
Yeah, I did at one point. I held up a piece of paper because I had been on it earlier. My phone blew up. That was our immediacy. That was where the next round was last night. Mid-court. Thank you to the NCAA or whoever decides where they put us. Great respect to have us dead center mid-court last night. And so we're sitting there, and the first time they did a hit with the announcers, my phone starts blowing up. And the young lady, Kinsey from Alabama Sports Information, who was next to me, her phone stops blowing up. And I didn't look at mine to start with. And she said, oh, my God, I think we were just on TV. So I flipped mine around, and I was like, oh, that's why. And so the next time I saw the camera guy slide around and get in front of him. So then I was like, well, I've got to be looking at a stat sheet or something. And then I said, I think we're on TV again. And then I held it up over my face, and I said to her, I said, that was a rookie mistake, because if you can read lips, I just said, I think we're on TV again. And
wait, why is that a rookie mistake?
Because you don't want people at home to know you're on TV. I all the time. I don't know how you guys are. I all the time make fun of the people behind the announcers when they're doing crazy things.
Well, I don't think that you would start taking your shirt off and dancing.
No, but I always make fun of the journalists too who are back there, because they always try to start looking professional, or they start looking like they're doing something, or they're smart. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, what do you do? And when you're in front of 10 million plus people at one point, it was a little nerve-wracking. So I think it was 3 different times that I saw the camera there. And the problem was my bald head was framed up perfectly in between them.
Hard to miss.
Between Grant.
Hard to miss.
So it was crazy. And by the way, our credentials are good for tomorrow night. And I'm told we've got the same exact seats tomorrow night.
Really?
So if you would like the prime time coverage, you can take over the courtside next round seats, and I'll slide to our end zone seat.
We can figure that out tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'm indifferent.
I wasn't sitting around NBA players like you were.
Yeah, I have most of you regulars probably know that I really don't know celebrities, whether it's from a movie or, whatever it's from. I know I would be able to recognize some athletes, some singers, but I don't know, an actor and actress could walk by at any time and I wouldn't notice unless it was someone that is very, very famous. And so I was sitting next to someone that I was like, I just had this gut feeling that it was someone. I thought that it was an NBA player, but first off, the names on the credentials aren't very big, like the text on them. And he was also sitting next to me, so it's not like I could lean forward and read it. But the way that he was talking, the things that he was saying, and then when people were walking by, everyone was yelling at him and asking for pictures. And so I was texting EG because she was asking if I'd seen anyone cool at the game. And I was like, well, I saw Shaq, but I'm pretty sure that I'm sitting next to an NBA player right now, but I don't know who it is. And I don't even know if he's in the NBA.
You were on TV with Shaq and Edie.
I was.
Yeah.
I had a similar experience after your first appearance. I started getting texts, but I don't know. I guess they pulled someone's video off Twitter, but I was sitting next to Danny White. He played at UNC. Danny Green. Yeah, I don't know.
Danny Green. But he played at UNC. He won a national championship in 2009. I learned everything about him now, so maybe I will talk to him tomorrow. I don't know, but I didn't know who he was. I don't even know where we were going with this. Just that your seat was with the NBA people.
Oh,
My seat was behind the announcers and just got a lot of airtime. My bookie's post-game, not really post-game here. This is the day after the Alabama loss in the semifinals. Tomorrow night it is Purdue and UConn. You can play that game and everything else throughout the rest of summer all the way into football season again with our friends at My Bookie. mybookie.ag. Let's get some more of the comments. What do you
Okay,
got?
this is also from NH3425. These were back to back, but I thought this was interesting. UConn gave up the highest three-point percentage all year to Bama at 45%.
We had a chance at breakfast today. Shout out Matt's Big Breakfast.
Oh,
here,
yeah.
Here. Do you like it? You've had it
Oh,
two mornings
yes.
in a row.
Yes, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Very good bacon.
Yeah, one you had Jim Dash to you. The other one you actually got up and went with me this morning. But it's a great breakfast place. There's a couple of locations here in town. I compare it to Big Bad Breakfast in Oxford, that kind of thing. But we were talking to some UConn folks while we were on the wait today. A little 40-minute wait, and I'm sipping my coffee, and Jimmy Awkward starts talking to these UConn men, and they instantly, I said, congratulations. I obviously wanted Alabama to win, but congratulations to you guys. Good luck in the finals. And they were like, oh, by far, toughest game we played all year long. Even though they said even the losses were not the same way as the way Alabama was attacking them in the first half. And they were like, if they kept hitting their threes in the second half, we were just going to be like, all right, we'll let them get down. If they get down to 50% threes, which is an enormous number, but they were like, if we get down to 50% threes, we think we'll win, because it was 70% in the first half, and he got up to 75%, and then Alabama went cold there, and that was the difference in the game. But they were like, if they end up hitting 70%, we're just going to tip our hat to them and say, good luck in the championship, guys.
I don't know if this was just something that I realized, but to you, did it seem like Alabama got a little bit winded at the end of the game?
Oh, I do think they became a little exhausted at the end, and also, because of Klingman, I thought Alabama. I was surprised at one point in the second half, after the 12-minute mark, how much they were still penetrating and attacking the big guy in the middle. And he and a couple other big guys were so forceful with rim protectors there that, I was so comfortable with Alabama just playing on the arc and shooting the threes. But they decided to continue to attack them. It had worked in the first half, attack, and then kick out if you don't get something at the rim. They stopped making shots. And I think UConn from 12:41 on doubled them up from that point on, and that was the difference in the game.
This is an off-topic question, but Jason said, "Are y'all going to be at Talladega?" We will be.
We will be, boy. I was just talking to my wife before you came down, Taylor, and she's like, "I don't remember in all of your years working this hard during basketball season." And I said, "Well, that was all little T." When we came back from Pasadena, she's like, "Listen, until football season again, we have these dip in our numbers." And it was always that way in radio and television too. It dips off until it's football season again. And you said, to your credit, I think we could get really good numbers with basketball. So we started, I think it was Texas A&M Auburn in January, but it was an Auburn game in January, and you had laid out the rest of the season. And Little T said, let's go to all these games. And some days we'll go together, some days we'll go apart, and let's see what kind of basketball numbers we could create. And you're the social media chairperson. You tell me.
Chairperson.
I mean, I'm on the committee, but you're the chairman, the chairwoman, and it feels like our social media numbers were at least equal to football season.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm getting choked up.
So emotional. Such good numbers.
It was, yeah, I mean, it's been great. And I think the thing is, and this is also something that we talked about earlier today, is for so long, Auburn, I'll just talk to Auburn Alabama fans here, but I feel like it was just all football and there wasn't really a basketball. People have started to care about basketball a lot more in the past however many years than they did at one point, because
right.
It's football all the time. And now Bruce Pearl and Nate Oates have both built something special in Tuscaloosa and in Auburn. And so people have started paying attention.
Ball in Indy, you get
right.
Get a little momentum going for every
right.
basketball.
So it's Birmingham, it's Auburn, it's Tuscaloosa. And I think that has made people more interested to begin with. And I'm like, if we have the capability of providing them with, because some people are fans that live far away, or some people don't want to go to a basketball game on a Wednesday night that's 2 hours away. So I'm like, if we're able to do it, let's give the people what they want.
That's right. So we give a lot of Saturdays. As my wife's point was, well, you've worked a lot of Saturdays for basketball, and I said, I know. T has too, and then we did Wednesday nights, late nights, and to your point, yes, we'll be at Talladega. But if you're looking at our calendar, it's we come back. It's Alabama A Day during the day, Stallions home opener at night, Saturday 2-0 Stallions. Then the next week is Talladega, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll be out there for that, April 19th through the 21st. Geico 500. Our friends at Johnson RV will be out there, and we'll be having a good time with that. And then the week after that is something else that's pretty big too. So
I don't even remember.
Then it's May, right? So then it's May, June, and then it's SEC Media.
Yeah, then it's football.
And then it's football again. So, I mean, life's flying fast.
It is.
That's our catch. That's our motto at the next round.
Okay.
Life, sports at the speed of life. How about that? We get to put that on a T-shirt. Sports at the speed of life. The next round.
I don't really understand it, but I like it.
Yeah. The next round. Sports at the speed of life.
Yeah.
It's flying by. Sports.
Yeah.
It's flying by.
Like time flies when you're. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying.
This is also NH3425 has a lot of things that are popping out to me today, but the next comment that I'll bring up is, who do you think is the biggest question mark of who returns to Bama or leaves as a key player for next season?
I'm going to say first. Do you have an answer?
Well, I read something. I guess it was from, I think someone asked Nate Oates about it in the press conference after the game yesterday, asking about, I don't know what the question was, but he started talking about Grant Nelson. And Nate Oates said, I think that he has really increased his stock in this tournament. He said, so if he leaves, there will be no one on the planet that's happier than me for him. Like if he enters the draft, not leaves as in transfers. But if he comes, Grant Nelson.
Yeah.
He said, but if he comes back, obviously, like I would love to have him back, and we will welcome him with open arms if he chooses to return.
I remember seeing that now. Yes.
But I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about I don't know, and I don't really pay attention to the NBA except for my player props on my bookie, but. Yeah. I don't know much about that, but I would say the two key players that they wouldn't want to lose that could come back if they want to are Mark Sears and Grant Nelson.
Yeah, and both of them could have some professional basketball futures, but both of them are also, are you going to be an NBA guy? And we all know your NBA contract. If you're a first round guy, your contract is guaranteed. If you're a second round guy, it's not guaranteed. And you can be like Charles Bediako. You can go and not get drafted. Then you're in the G League or you're playing overseas. So that's something they'll weigh out. The good thing they do with basketball is that you're able to test the waters, see what the NBA folks say.
Right.
And if you don't like it, you can go back to school. But Grant was the one mostly of all the Alabama players. He was the one talking mostly about next year on the podium and in the locker room. He seemed to be all focused and dialed in on next year already. Now, obviously, that changes pretty darn quickly if he gets a positive response from the NBA. I would say this though: I would keep an eye on. First off, I'd keep an eye on Nick Pringle because Nick Pringle has a year of eligibility left. During this NCAA tournament run, he was a team leader, loved by the players, loved by the coaches, but he's had some issues. One of them put him on a flight with little T to Spokane before this tournament started. But he is a guy. What happens, and we saw this recently at Auburn with KD Johnson, and I don't know if really with the other guard, but with KD specifically, I feel like that was the coaches explaining to KD that your minutes aren't going to be exactly the same next year. We're going to have to do something else, and if you stay, you can't be a bad apple because your minutes are going to go way down. Nick Pringle didn't really play a ton last night. Matchup was different. Didn't really play a ton down the stretch. But Alabama's got 2 McDonald's All-Americans coming in. They just went to a Final Four, so I expect them to be able to pick and choose in the portal.
Yeah.
The lineup's going to look a little different next year, as it does every year in basketball. And I don't know where Nick Pringle fits in. But if you get Nick Pringle that you got in L.A. for those 2 games, I like that Nick Pringle, and I love his sound bites. But
yeah, his personality's great.
He'd be the first guy I watch. I mean, Grant and Mark have some future pro stuff there. Rylan Griffin is a very good, talented defender and popular. Right? So, I mean, in basketball, you got to worry about everybody. You got to worry about everybody. But with a great recruiting class coming in, 3 great high school recruits, the portal possibilities, and the fact that Alabama just went to a Final Four, I think Nate Oates and company will be able to change the roster. And he even says himself today and yesterday that defense becomes a little bit of a priority. He wants a better defense next year.
Okay, this is interesting to me. Landmine Believer says the rivalry is so much more heated in basketball than football these days. Now football is about to pick back up, in my opinion, because of Freeze and Saban retiring. Do you think, okay, this is what, I'll just say this. Something that's bothered me personally, not bothered because I know that it happens, a rivalry is a rivalry and that's just how it goes. But something that has been so, I guess, I don't want to say frustrating, but that I've seen a lot of on social media this tournament, NCAA tournament, is after obviously Auburn lost in the first round to Yale, they got upset. They weren't supposed to lose that game. But after every game that Alabama won, starting from the first game of the NCAA tournament, it is always Auburn. I don't understand why every game comes back to the team to your rival. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't know if I'm explaining this right.
Like Auburn Twitter's reaction to Alabama's loss last night, that kind of stuff.
Yes, and it's like every game that they won, it's not. I'm not saying that this is just Alabama fans. Auburn fans every fan is guilty of doing this to some extent, I'm sure.
You were criticizing Alabama fans? I was criticizing Auburn fans.
I'm saying all the fans, and Auburn fans are guilty of it too, but it's just like, and I'll use last night as an example. It's like, I don't remember how it was worded, but it was basically like, Final Four, losing by double digits in the Final Four couldn't be me, and it's stuff like that. And I'm just like, but it's mostly, that was a loss, but it's the wins. It's like, if your team wins, why is Auburn still coming back every single time Alabama wins to find like some sort of thing to nitpick at? And these fans are still coming back to Auburn. I'm like, this is Auburn isn't.
I think that's just the rivalry.
It is, but I feel like it has been, I don't know if it's just me and I've just been seeing more on Twitter, but I feel like the past few weeks have been so much more than I've seen in the past from both sides.
Well, I mean, if you look at it historically, the one thing that Auburn traditionally had over Alabama were 2 things: was Heisman trophies. Forever, Alabama didn't have one, and was it 2 or 3 that you guys had? I know you had Bo and Pat Sullivan, maybe 2. So you had those 2 Heisman trophies, and Alabama had 0. Well, then all of a sudden Saban comes, and it's boom, 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 boom on Heisman trophies. And then you guys were in the Final Four. Auburn was in the Final Four.
Yeah.
And Alabama didn't have that.
Yeah.
And now Alabama has that.
Right.
So, it just amps it up a little bit. So now it becomes a debate. Which Final Four team was better?
Yeah, and it's like which Final Four lost, and then it's Alabama's Final Four or their paths to get to the Final Four wasn't as hard. And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
And then that's when the Alabama people on social media filed back. Yeah.
Yale.
Yeah.
And that's what, and I think I also look at it from a different perspective now because of my job. So I can see both. I don't know. And that is
the people that don't get caught. What you're about to say is the people that don't get caught up in all that are the players themselves.
I mean, probably.
Yeah, they don't see Auburn Twitter or Alabama Twitter, and there is a healthy rivalry when they play each other.
Yeah.
But I don't think they are as petty as the fans are.
Well, that's what, and some of it's funny. Like the comments that are funny, I love it. Yeah. I love it. But sometimes
I love Auburn Twitter. It's hilarious.
It is.
Hey, how are y'all?
But when it's like back and forth, and I'm like, y'all, this is a grown adult, and y'all are actually like in a legitimate argument about this. It's just crazy to me. I think I am seeing it more now. I don't know, but I love a rivalry, and that is what makes college athletics so special. Right. I think.
Right. It does.
Because people care so much. Yeah.
But I would tell you this though, my favorite one, and I think it's from the kid we met a couple of times on the road with Auburn this year. Wasn't he Auburn super fan number 2? Wasn't that the kid we met at a couple of like in
Yes, and
Nashville
he
and
when I was in Auburn and joined y'all live, he came on with us.
Yeah,
but yes.
So he posted last night. Alabama becomes the first school ever to lose
by double digits.
No. In the semifinals in football and the semifinals in basketball. Final Four in football, Final Four in basketball. First school ever to do that. And, I was like, sort of a compliment, right?
Well, I don't think I could see him meaning as a compliment.
Yeah, I could. I think he was. I mean, the response he got, obviously, from Alabama fans, it was not a compliment.
Right.
It was a lot of yells again.
Yeah.
But
just yell about it. The amount of times that I'm read that, I'm like, that is old and it's really not that funny.
Yeah.
Like, get more creative. If you're going to say something about it, get more creative.
But I thought to myself, man, you in the same year to both be in the football semifinals and the basketball Final Four, it was a pretty darn good year. You got to be there to lose, I guess, right?
Right.
But I love the fandom. I love the back and forth. It becomes I think I've always thought it's what really pays
I love it
for my house and my groceries.
Yeah, it's so entertaining. But I don't know why I feel like this season I've seen more of like Auburn has obviously very removed from the situation because we have been done playing basketball for I don't know how many weeks now, and I'm just like, how is this coming back every single game? I don't know. But I do love I love a rivalry, and I do like that the basketball rivalry is so big now.
Oh, I do too. I mean, I hope next year you cannot buy a ticket to any stadium in the state of Alabama, any arena in Alabama for basketball. I hope Sanford, UAB, Auburn, and Alabama are sold out every contest, and we ride this basketball wave for forever and ever because they play twice a week, and it's so much fun for us. I just love it. I love it. And
it is.
I hope we keep coming back to the Final Four every year. This is my second one, and it's my favorite event. It should always be in a climate like this. It shouldn't be in Minnesota like it was for Auburn.
That's why they lost.
Yeah, we should
not a double dribble.
We should be here. With palm trees every Final Four.
We talked about this. I think before we left to come here. But Richard said, "Little T, have you seen the video with Theo and Willie?" I saw that. I think that he was having Drewski on his podcast, and I don't know if Drewski knows Willie somehow. I don't know how the connection was made, but he brought him with him or got him to arrive the day that they were recording. And that was just a very interesting part of that episode. The thing that I wonder about is I think that Willie, I love his fandom. He's very passionate and he loves Alabama a lot, obviously. But at what point is a line drawn? This is not even related to this anymore, but I feel like since Nick Saban and stuff, things have changed so much media-wise. Even the amount of access that people are getting during practice and stuff. And then Roll Tide Willie, like imagine a super fan of any team showing up at practice or of Alabama showing up at practice when Nick Saban was there. He would lose it.
Should I just pull back the curtain?
Yeah,
Willie really is a multi-millionaire.
Oh yeah, this conspiracy theory
CEO, and he's one of the big boosters at Alabama. So this is just all part of the Alabama experience.
Okay, should we start that rumor?
He's a Tim Cook.
Should we start that rumor?
Alabama. He's a big NIL collective donor.
Landmine Believer, yes, I pay attention to the chat every day. It's passionate people arguing about things that they care about, which is fun. Yeah, it's fun. Sometimes
love our chat room.
Yes, they are one of the most. Sorry, I'm having a hard time reading and talking.
You got stuck. Well, let me talk. I'll tell you about MyBookie, mybookie.ag.
No, I did not say Freeze retired. I said because Freeze and Nick Saban retired. Back to the question.
We're here in Phoenix, sunsetting FanFest just down the way. We're about a block from where Alabama stayed, the team hotel, which was the Westin out here. Had a couple of nights over there and a couple of mornings over there with the team and some of the traveling party. Good trip here to Phoenix just to be on this stage. And, the feeling around the Alabama program is they knocked the door down. They'd like to kick it down one day and come back and win this whole thing. So I think it's going pretty good for Alabama basketball to be here at this point, and got Nate Oates locked up, and it was a fun trip out here to the desert. Unfortunately, though, they're not playing tomorrow night.
Yeah.
It's Purdue and UConn, and we'll get a chance to go to that and do the game.
Rich Law just said Little T is the most delusional Barner south of Bobby. Completely hilarious. I take that as a compliment. Thank you. Because I love Auburn a lot, and I know it's probably unhealthy, but I do. Okay,
Well, if you work hard and all the other things in your creed, then Auburn will love you back. Right? Well,
are you trying to make fun of this?
No, how does the creed go?
I don't know the creed.
You don't know the creed?
No.
I thought you had to know the creed to graduate.
No. You think they bring all graduates into a room, make them recite it? Landmine Believer said, we need to pay whatever it takes to bring Sears back. If we can bring Sears back to add to what we have coming in we can I'm assuming he said we can win the national title next year, but a little bit of
becomes interesting, because he'll have financial opportunities, but because of the NIL, you got the opportunity for Sears to make enough money to where maybe it's more interesting to him to come back. So it's very different now than it was in the old days. Mark Sears would easily leave, take a shot at the NBA. If it didn't work out, he'd go overseas and play. Boom, let's get paid.
Make some money, yeah.
But now it works out really good.
If we Richard said if we were in a good chat, we wouldn't know to bring up Willie and Theo and connect them to. Yeah, I do appreciate it. I need to find a way to Theo to get him on the show.
I can't imagine anybody trying harder than you've been trying. I asked her on the plane. I was like, hey, what are you listening to? Theo's podcast. Today at the pool, I said, hey, what are you listening to? Theo's podcast.
He's just so entertaining. Every single time that I listen to something that he does, I'm just like, I don't understand how these thoughts come into his brain. And I think that he's one of those people that he's obviously a goofball, but I feel like he's so smart. I don't know, maybe he's not, but I just feel like he's one of those people that's so smart that he knows how to present these types of things and he knows how to interview and do all of that. Or maybe he's an idiot. I don't know. But he's just so entertaining. He's so entertaining. And, okay, Ben said, is it just me or is Theo kind of dumb? I can't tell. I don't know.
Is Theo kind of what? Dumb?
Is it just me or is Theo kind of dumb?
No. I think that's an act.
I think that he's smart. He has to be some sort of smart to build what he's built because he has I know that he has people that help him and work with him, but I don't know. He's funny. I think that he's just hilarious.
I think that's
being a comedian.
Yeah, I think that's a character.
But hopefully that he'll be joining. I'm hoping that he'll be joining the next round as a guest one day in the near future.
Boiler up.
Wait, what did he say?
Hammer down.
Simmer down. I think he said simmer down. I think that okay. Yes, Richard. Super quick.
I've never yelled boiler up either.
Is that
saw a T-shirt by the pool. This girl had it on. It was BTFU, and I said, "Hey, BTFU," and she's like, "Boiler the F up," and she didn't say F though. And I was like,
"So is that their yell?"
Yeah. Boiler up is their Roll Tide War Eagle, and BTFU is their RMFT. Yeah.
Mike said, "What's the temperature out there? Everyone walking by are in long pants and jackets. I'm comfortable. I could
right now it is
have a short sleeve shirt on.
Right now it is 68 degrees. It was a high of 75 today. A little chillier yesterday, unless you were walking around trying to find your media credentials.
Y'all. That was.
The next round put together a charter trip with Total Sports Travel, and so we did a shuttle bus too down to the arena. So Little T and I are on that. So we go to where the shuttle buses let out. So we say goodbye to the shuttle folks. See you after the game, and we go walking towards the stadium. Where in my 30 years, if you don't pick your credentials up in advance at said hotel, you pick it up at the media will call at the arena. So we're walking, and we get to a clear bag checkpoint where all the fans are going in, and we can't go through that because we don't have clear bags. But we go around to the media, which was on the other side of the stadium. We have to walk around FanFest, go around all the way to the media entrance, which wasn't easy.
No, I don't think you'll understand how far it was. Like, it wasn't just around the fan. It was.
Yeah. Like, we had to go back to where the bus was, then twice that far around the FanFest, and then back up to the stadium, and then find the media entrance. And we started walking up to the media entrance, and she's like, do you have your credential? And we were like, no, we're going to go up there and get them as soon as you scan our bags. And she says, no. It's over in the Diamond Center.
No, they didn't even know where it was. They said it's somewhere across the street, but you're going to have to ask someone there.
So it's as far now as we've just walked in the other direction. Yeah. So now we walk across the street, and then we get there.
And it's a outdoor mall, basically, with hundreds, dare I say thousands of people hanging out because there's bars and restaurants everywhere before the game.
I think it's where ESPN's outdoor set is located if you're watching the coverage tonight and tomorrow.
Well, it was a great location for that.
Yeah. So then we finally saw a sign that said media credentials, and it had an arrow. So we walk up the top of the stairs, there's nothing there. And then we walk down to the bottom of the stairs, and there's nothing there. And finally, we asked somebody, and they're like, oh, yeah, it's between the Mexican restaurant and the such and such bar. And so we go back up the stairs. We walk past the Mexican Tulum, and then there's...
It couldn't have been more confusing.
Oh. And we walked in. They're like, you're looking for your credentials? Yes, we are.
Yeah, we have been for the past 45 minutes.
Yeah. How many steps did you have yesterday?
I had 18,000, and I realized this morning that I didn't have... Because my Apple Watch is broken. So that was on my phone. That was my phone tracking it. And some of the time when I got there when you were doing the live show, I was charging my phone and walking to do whatever I needed to do. So there was some steps that were not even tracked. So how many were there actually? I don't know. But yeah, I had 18,000. You probably had the same or more because you got up earlier.
I walked to breakfast.
Yeah. So you probably had, we'll say you're pushing 20. And
which for this bigger boy is a lot.
And yeah, it was a haul, but we made it. And we might have to do it again tomorrow. We're not sure yet.
Yeah. Our credential is good.
Oh, so we're using, okay.
Yeah.
Then we're good.
Good.
Richard said that his 9-year-old son saw you on TV and recognized you and called you out.
Called me out like in a bad way?
No, just saying like,
there's Jim.
Hey, yeah. Or I don't know. I'm just assuming. Awesome. You just said recognize.
It's so funny. My daughter, until her boyfriend, did not watch sports. And all of a sudden, she shoots me an Instagram story. Jim Dunaway spotted, and it's a screen grab of me on television. But I got, at least 15 screen grabs in the course of the game that, hey, you're right there.
Richard said yes, recognized, as in called out.
So we probably need to... we'll play it by ear tomorrow, but there's a good chance T will be in those seats tomorrow, just so the next round looks a little bit better. It's not me back-to-back nights. We'll play it by ear.
Yeah, well,
you know me, Jimmy Ego would eat that up again.
Yeah, don't act like you're trying to hide your face with the papers. Are you kidding me?
I'll be there tomorrow night. I'll be doing this.
Yeah, you're not moving.
I'll start doing things. Send everybody a message.
Wait, yeah, we should try and make something up and tell our listeners.
You know what I got to do?
What?
I got to get my iPad out with the next round sticker on it tomorrow.
Yeah, what are you even doing?
I know.
Where was it?
It was in my bag.
Oh. Jim and the GOAT, Lenny Acuff, were both in that halftime shot, says Dave. We actually talked to Lenny multiple times. Yeah. Was that yesterday?
It was yesterday, and Lenny pulled a fast one on me.
Oh, yeah.
Lenny used to coach at UAH. He's now the head coach at David Lipscomb. And the coaches from the National Coaches Convention are sitting right behind us. And, like, literally right where T is, one row back, was Roy Williams. Well, right behind me was Gene Cady, the longtime Purdue coach. Last time Purdue was in the Final Four was 1980. He's an older gentleman now. And so I come back to sit down in my seat. Hey, how are you guys? Roll Tide, y'all.
Do you know them?
I don't.
They just scream Jimmy D.
So I You've been surprised at how many people know me on this trip.
It's when we were rushing to get our credentials to get him to wherever we needed to be for the pregame. Was that what it was?
Yeah.
It was. There couldn't have been more people that asked for photos and stuff. And he said, "Do you like interacting?" I said, "I love it," because he was like, "I enjoy interacting with listeners and stuff when we see them out and about." And I said, "I love it." I said, "But it does like make the stress go."
Yeah.
I said, "Obviously, no one knows that we're in a rush," but I was like, "I'm sitting here like worried."
You just can't, you got to stop. You got to stop and talk and take
Yeah,
pictures.
and they're all awesome, so
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah, I figure Brown and LT could handle it if I was 5 minutes late, right?
Yeah.
They do it all the time. They don't need me. So I enjoy taking the pictures and stuff. But it was Roy Williams was there. Gene Katie was right behind me, Purdue's legendary coach. So I didn't know that Lenny was 2 seats down from Gene Katie and his wife. So I come back to the seat, and all of a sudden they're wanting a picture taken with me. And I'm like, I misunderstood. I thought the guy with Gene Katie wanted me to take a picture of them. And I was like, sure. And then I reached for the camera, and they're like, no. Coach wants a picture with you. Or you and Coach get a picture together. And I was like, oh, okay. And the legendary Gene Katie, who's just as intense watching a Purdue game as he was coaching, leans over, we put arm in arm, and I've got the picture. I'll put it into the feed when I get back with Forrester. And then after the picture was taken, I asked the guy to send it to me, and I looked down. Lenny Hiccup is laughing at me like, isn't that pretty cool? I got you a picture with the legend.
Wait, we should try and find him if he's still here tonight, and you can talk. Have you talked to him about it?
About that? No. I mean, I said thank you for that. I've got
yeah, now you have a picture.
Yeah, I got a picture with that. What really is funny is Roy Williams was right beside me. There was one seat here, and then the Spanish broadcast, the radio broadcast, maybe it was TV, but the Spanish broadcast was going on. And they were right in front of Roy Williams. And so during a TV timeout, either the analyst or the play-by-play guy of the Spanish broadcast wife walks over to take a picture. And Roy Williams behind him is doing bunny ears right behind him. It was a hilarious picture of the legendary Roy Williams.
Okay, I don't know. I can't speak on this. You can, because you were there. Or I think. Were you in Lucas Oil Stadium for the Final Four?
I was not at Lucas Oil. I was with Auburn in Minneapolis.
Okay, Morgan just said State Farm Stadium has to be the worst stadium for a Final Four. Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis was way better. So you weren't there.
I was not there. Okay. I was not in Lucas Oil. I was in Minneapolis. I was at Lucas Oil for the football Final Four. It's a good football stadium. I can imagine that it's set up really nicely for a basketball Final Four because it's a little smaller, a little tighter. But it was not a bad venue. What was crazy about the one in Minneapolis that Auburn was in, that their roof is glass. So, this time of year, the early game would have been played in daylight. So they had to black out the glass roof there with these black screens to be able to play the Final Four there. When the Vikings play there, the sun shines in. It looks like it's an open sky. So that wasn't a bad venue. It's just the only thing I hate. I like that it's 70,000 fans.
Yeah.
Because it makes for such a unique, crazy atmosphere. But there's so many bad seats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of our viewers were sending us pictures from where their seats were in the upper deck. And those were bad football seats. They're impossible basketball seats.
Well, and you think about, in relation to a football field, how much smaller is a basketball court? Is it like half or a third?
I would go a third in length, maybe even more than that, and then the width. They drop it right in the middle, the toss it up line now. Used to, they would tuck them in the corner, right, and bring in some portable seats. And you'd only have the Georgia Dome would be right below 40,000 in the 30s for basketball attendance. I think Michael Jordan got 60,000, some obstructed view at the Georgia Dome.
Yeah.
That's where the SEC tournament used to play. But now they put it right in the middle. They raise the court up. And no, there's tons of bad seats.
That was weird to me, too, how when they were coming off the court or on the court, they were literally going downstairs. Yeah. Probably only 2 or 3, but still.
Yeah. and this year was sort of unique because there's usually a test site for the next year's Final Four. They usually host a regional the year before the regional finals,
Yeah.
so you can test it out a little bit. And we didn't get that this year. It was at crypto and normal basketball arenas.
Okay, Jeff says Little T and Jimmy D. Who do y'all think wins tomorrow night? Who is the favorite?
I think Edie is better than Klingman, the big guy. But I don't think Purdue, I don't think their other players are as athletic as UConn is. So I'll take UConn to go back-to-back for the first time since Florida. But Edie's the better big man in the game. I just don't think the other four guys on the court with Edie are as good as what UConn will present.
I agree. I feel like UConn wore Alabama out, which I hadn't seen Alabama look tired or run down in any game this season, which, I mean, I'm not going to say that I've watched every game, all the way through paying very close attention. But right. I just feel like last night when I saw at the end of that game, I felt like it was shocking to me that it looked like they were a little winded. So I will say that. But I don't know. Zach Edey is.
He played 40 minutes against NC State. He didn't come off the court.
Oh. She just fell.
Tough as nails. She fell down and didn't get up. Got up and didn't cry.
I know. I wish we had a prize for her. But, yeah, he played 40 minutes and was fine after the game.
Seemed to be. He lugged that big 7'4" body up and down for 40 minutes and had time to talk to Shaq and you after the game.
Yeah.
And then he'll be ready to go again tomorrow night. I hate that style of play.
I do too.
Bring it down slow, feed it into him. He maybe dribbles around, feeds it back out, feed it back to him. Slow hook shot. I don't know. Nate Oates and Bruce Pearl have spoiled me. The running and gunning and the great defense and the fast pace and the shoot the threes. I like that a lot better.
Well, I don't like it either because no one's going to be as tall as him. So I'm going
to blow your mind right here. There was a time that they outlawed dunking in college basketball.
So
do you know why?
Because of tall people?
Because of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He was Lou Alcindor back then at UCLA, and they banned dunking the basketball.
Why?
You could not put your hands above the rim. They called it offensive goaltending. So if you held the basketball and you put it over the rim, technically by the rule, if you touch the ball over the cylinder, it doesn't make sense that it's not goaltending, right? So they made that the rule one year, and then they ended up bringing it back that you could dunk. But because of Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, they would call it offensive goaltending if you stuffed or dunked the basketball for a brief period of time, mainly because he was taller than everybody else, and it makes the game unfair, I guess.
Well, watching him, he literally will just stand under the basket, and then when someone passes him the ball, it's like he just stands there, and it's like me putting something in a cabinet at my house. He's just and, it looks like it takes, and I'm sure it's harder than it looks because I'm just sitting there, but it just looks like it takes minimal effort. He just says, okay, here you go.
Against Clemson last night, when Pringle blocked it, I thought it was a clean block.
Yeah.
And they called a foul on Pringle. You could see Pringle talking to the official from where I was sitting. He was like, man, he's 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
What do you mean I fouled him? I didn't foul him. He's 7 feet tall. That's all I could do. So, those guys are hard to defend. I think they, at times, can slow you down and be a detriment. But here we are in the championship game. One team's got a 7'4" guy. One team's got a 7'2" guy.
Yeah.
So maybe
should be interesting.
Maybe it works.
And
we'll go ahead and say it one more time. Alabama, if Bediako had come back, had a true 7-footer.
Yeah, how many times have we heard that this year?
Oh, 1,000 times this year, 1,000 times.
Let's see.
By the way, mybookie.ag, promo code next round, bringing you all of our coverage here in the postseason, including the Final Four from Phoenix, Arizona. Alabama landed safely back in Tuscaloosa. Fans at the airport.
Yeah, I was about to say, did they have people?
They did. Obviously not as much as when they come back from the win, but it was a good looking good-looking crowd that showed up to say thank you for the season.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, I have seen some social media. I haven't looked a ton today for it, but I have seen a lot of people coming to the realization of, yeah, the loss sucks. We made it this far, and I wish that, we were playing the championship game tomorrow, but the team overachieved in relation to what people thought they would be at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. No, 100%. You only had 3 players back. Change your whole roster, your whole coaching staff. Play a really tough schedule. Lose 11 games, including the first game in the SEC tournament. And then get in the NCAA tournament. You make it to the Final Four, first time in history. Yeah, I'd say you overachieved.
That's what concerned me about. I don't know if we were on air and I brought this up or if it was just in conversation, but after, and this is just any conference championship, any team, after Auburn won it, it started making me think, is this not a bad thing, but heading into, you have that and you're on such a high heading into what most consider, and I agree with, the more important tournament.
Well, it is, but I would say that the reason Auburn was playing so well, the way they looked at nationals, why I picked them to win the national championship.
Oh, we're aware.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that they showed how good they were, and that was, so I don't think winning that tournament hurts you, but I guess you can make an argument that it does. Like, for instance, Nate Oates was very thankful for the early exit because Alabama was beat up. Auburn wasn't beat up.
Yeah, they were on a high.
And when you look back at this season, I mean, Auburn got to cut down nets, and they had confetti.
Yeah.
And so, they won an SEC championship. So there's some value in that. And then Alabama won the West Regional. They got to cut down nets and have some confetti. And there's more value in that than it is winning the SEC championship.
Thank you.
So it's, in different ways, it was a successful season for both of those teams. And it was successful for Andy and UAB and Sanford as well. They all cut down nets.
Yeah.
UAB won their conference tournament. Sanford won theirs. Auburn won theirs. And Alabama won the West Regional. So the 4 biggest schools in our immediate viewing area, it just dawned on me. They all cut down nets this year.
Yeah.
That is so rare in basketball.
Whose is the most important?
Alabama? What?
Doug says, Jim, more exciting for you in that stadium, the national championship versus Clemson or the Final Four?
Well, yeah. God, this is going to sound so horrible, but I've been to so many football national championship games.
Oh.
And I've seen them win so many. Like just in the stadium here, I've seen Auburn win their only one in my lifetime. And I saw Alabama win one with a great onside kick. So I've seen 2 national championships in this stadium, but I'd never seen a Final Four with Alabama in it before. So, and I'd never been to a Final Four until I went to the Auburn one. So it's going to be, but see, last night, I went with Jocks. It was my previous job. And Landrum Roberts went with me on the trip, and he's an Auburn grad. And so we were in the same situation we had one courtside seat, and we had one that was actually not even as good as your seat. It was in the auxiliary. It was in the football press box.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, you're an Auburn grad. You take the seat on the court. I will go and sit up in the press box. It's your team. You see that here. So last night I got to sit freaking 3 rows off the court with Alabama in the Final Four. So that's a top 5 moment for me in my career. Right up here with Sid Bream. I'm not a Braves fan, but I'm early in my career. Sid Bream is safe at the plate with the Braves, and I'm 7 seconds, 10 seconds, and they're not even out of the dog pile at home plate, and I'm out there with my mic flag doing interviews. And that's a top 5 moment. So I've had a lot, but this is one of them. I was in awe last night. I still am.
I am too, honestly.
I'll go back and watch it on television, and just
find yourself in the crowd.
No, just to see, Alabama run out on the national stage in basketball and go, dang,
we did
they
it.
won that tournament.
Yeah. It was awesome. And you don't realize how big of an event it is. Or I didn't.
I was thinking about this by the pool today. when I wasn't listening to Theo's podcast.
You were listening to?
No, when I wasn't listening to Theo's podcast like you. I was sitting there listening to music, and I forget which song was playing. I think it was a Killer song. And I was staring up at the Arizona flag and the American flag against the blue sky, and this nice breeze, perfect temperature. I had a cold Mick Ultra, and I was thinking, I was like, does it seem like the basketball Final Four is bigger than the football national championship game? Because football is played in a football stadium, and it's like a lot of big games, and for us, like the football national championship game doesn't really feel like the Iron Bowl. That Iron Bowl in Jordan-Hare almost feels like it's more intense than the football national championship. But this little basketball court in the middle of a big football arena.
Yeah.
There are 4 fan bases here on the Saturday. They're all cheered up, ready to go. It's all in the same town. Then you play the championship on Monday. There's something about this that feels bigger. I think it's because there's 4 fan bases in one place.
I think it's because it's a lot harder to win a basketball national championship than it is a football,
It
too.
does seem that way. And I always wonder, do we say that because we're in a football state where we've seen it done so many times and we've never seen it in basketball? But it just does seem harder.
No, I think
do.
it's harder because think about how many games you have to win even to get to the championship game. Football, you have to win. It's not win or go home for 5 games leading up to the championship game. It's, you obviously can't win a bunch of regular season games, but you don't have to play in the round of 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 1, like all of those games and not lose one.
Yeah. I wonder how it'll feel starting this year when
with the 12 team.
When it's a 12 team, if it feels like it becomes harder. But to your point is, you play the regular season, your conference championship, and then they announce the 4, and that's when the tournament starts.
Right.
And you're already in the final.
And you're in the
four
final 4, yeah. And then it's like you have to win 2 games back to back, which is hard. And it's still hard, but I do think that it's more challenging. Think about how many games that you're playing so close. And I mean, obviously, as the tournament progresses, you have a longer break in between your games. But coming straight out of the conference tournament to the NCAA tournament, and then you're playing game after game after game after game after game, especially if you go far in your conference tournament, you're playing potentially 4 days.
Yeah. Like NC State won, I think, 11 elimination games.
Right. So it's like I think that it's so much more electric.
Yeah.
I don't like saying that for this because it's like if you lose, you're done. And there's only 2 games like that for football.
100%.
Considering you've won a lot in the regular season.
I agree.
If you're a contender.
But see, there's the difference. In the regular season, the way it was almost some of those were elimination games in the regular season.
Right.
Which makes college football's regular season the best in sports, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We'll see if that works.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I just think that there's so much attention. Like people care about basketball all throughout the season, but then when it comes to this tournament, everyone cares. Whether you're a fan or not, really, you have random people filling out brackets.
It really does. I think it's because of the bracket. I really do. We were talking about that at breakfast, that don't mess up the tournament because
it's so fun for so many people that care about sports or not.
The bracket makes it happier, makes it a better thing. 64 team bracket, 68 team bracket.
It does. All right.
Get a couple of more, or unless we're ready to wrap it up.
I mean, I think we've hit everything.
Okay. My goodness, we went a little over an hour.
We did.
Right at an hour as the sun is setting, still up here. But it's my favorite time of day. What's your favorite time of day?
My favorite time of day is...
Are you a high noon person? You like it right in the middle of the day? Or are you
No.
a sunset person?
The middle of the day is when I hit I need to go to sleep.
Like look at that that church over there, or that light, that sunset light.
I like this time of day. I like this time of day in the summer when I've been outside all day and I go inside and I shower and I've gotten my cheeks are a little burnt.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Did you see I got a little?
Oh yeah, your head is a little sunburned.
Is it sunburned or just a little tan?
It's a little red, but not bad.
That, by the way, that's with 50 SPF.
Good. I'm glad that you're protecting your skin, but
I mean that's 50, and I was only out there an hour, and look how red.
But it was so hot.
It was.
But I just like early evening in the summer when I'm at the beach or somewhere tropical and I've been outside all day. I've gotten a lot of sun and then I just shower and yeah.
You know, I don't put chapstick on anywhere in the world except
Arizona.
in Arizona.
I always put chapstick on.
I'm going to start doing it more. That's going to be a motto for me. Chapstick more. Chapstick more. I'm going to do more chapstick.
Okay.
Another Moscow Mule for you?
Yeah, let's do it. I need some dinner.
I need some dinner too. Just had a great guac though.
What?
I just had a great. I just had a couple of beers before you got here too.
Yeah,
but also a great guac.
A great guac.
Good.
Okay, well let's get dinner. Wait, we're gonna film. I don't know if it's gonna be tonight or not, but Dunaway's gonna make an appearance.
Okay, we're gonna take
on
it
Uncorked. No, I'm just saying at some point before we leave this state. So Dave's saying
we could do Uncorked from the Final Four.
Oh, we could.
Yeah.
Okay, because Dave is saying more hot takes. You can ask us any question that you want. No topics are off the table. So
Uncorked?
Yeah, just any it doesn't need to be sport. I'm just saying that. I mean, obviously, use common sense, but it doesn't have to be
use common sense.
Sports related as the show is.
That's why the Alabama broadcast team liked taking me to dinner in LA.
Why?
Because they've been together for 22 years and they wanted to hear a new story. So all they did was tell us another story, Jim. Tell us another story.
Because they've been telling the same ones over and over. Yeah, no, that's why I added that disclaimer, Dave. But yeah, we're going to be filming one sometime. So if you would like our opinion on things like that, let me know. Let us know on social media and we will.
Maybe we get to the arena early tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll be live with our show 7 to 10 while you sleep in, maybe.
No, I'm working tomorrow.
And then we go down to the arena and in that big fan area where I did the show live from the other day. Maybe we can find a place to set up and do it from down there.
Let's do that.
Uncorked at the Final Four.
Uncorked at the Final Four. So y'all tune in tomorrow, but 9 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Is this Pacific time?
Yeah, 7 a.m. Pacific time.
Okay.
I have a habit of saying specific.
Pacific time. And he will see y'all. Yeah, he'll see y'all there then. But happy gambling, my bookie, for all of you who will be placing bets on tomorrow's game. I still have a parlay that I need to check after we get off here.
The hardest. I taught this to Brown early on in broadcasting. The takeoff and the landings are the most important things.
Well, if you don't end it, I'm just going to keep talking. I have so many random things that I could say that we don't want to talk about.
I want you to stick the landing here. Wrap it up.
Okay. God bless you and God bless America.
No, you can't do that.